I'm Dr. Cheryl, and welcome to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl. The theme of our show is raising the awareness and consciousness in the relationship with wealth and applying unconditional love. Always remember that your present situation is not your final destination. The best is yet to come, by Zig Ziglar. Irrespective of whether we are believers or agnostics, whether we believe in God or karma, moral ethics is a code which everyone is able to pursue by the Dalai Lama. Your problem is, our special guests this evening are Sharing the Wealth of Relationship with Gary Salyer and Diane Frost. Dr. Gary Salyer is a master transformational relationship coach who helps people rewrite the rules of love in their brains. This allows amazing shifts to happen in a very short periods of time so that people can have the incredible relationship they want and deserve. Gary absolutely adores co-presenting with Dr. Diane Frost. Dr. Salyer is the creator of the Safe to Love Again workshops. He is also the author of the forthcoming book, Safe to Love Again, How to Release the Pain of Past Relationships and Attract Your Soulmate. Dr. Gary offers a unique blend of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, Bert Hellinger's family systems approach, and attachment theory, the science of relationships. As one client said, he resets your system for love in a science-based, heart-delivered manner. Dr. Diane Frost, Phd. Dr. Diane is a transformational leader who helps people discover their unique soul's wisdom and inspires them to live their finest dreams in love and relationships. Diane particularly loves helping people find deep and lasting love in their lives by co-presenting with Dr. Gary Salyer at Safe to Love Again workshops. While following her passion, Dr. Frost earned her doctorate in depth psychology, specializing in empowering women through dream tending. As a Jungian psychologist, she has supported numerous clients in integrating aspects of their shadows so they can live more conscious lives. Additionally, Dr. Frost is a board-certified hypnotherapist and learned to practice regression therapy from the renowned Dr. Brian Weiss. Most importantly, Dr. Diane Frost is a heart-centered advocate of people and consciousness, and her greatest joy is helping people to live brilliant, loving lives. This is the first segment of a two-part discussion with Dr. Gary and Dr. Diane. Welcome, Gary and Diane. Thank you so much for coming. And Diane came all the way from San Diego to be here, and thank you. That is wonderful.
My pleasure.
I have given your introduction already on both of your backgrounds and education and accolades, etc. Probably modestly so in what I had for your bio. I'm sure there's more that I could elaborate on, but welcome. So let's start this. This is wonderful. I preface this by saying the wealth of relationships, and I know that's what you do because yes. I came to one of your workshops. Unfortunately, I didn't stay for the whole thing, but maybe this next time I will. Yes. I know I need it. But welcome, and so tell us where you're from and how you came about coming here. How you know.
Yes, well, where I'm from is, a person who's always been looking to step into the most brilliant version of life for myself and for the people around me. And I really want to bring out that beauty that is innate to all of us and sometimes gets buried in all kinds of muck and, tribulations and experience, and to uncover what is our birthright, our brilliant, beautiful souls, our hearts. And I do that in a lot of different ways. As a psychologist, I've worked with individual clients on all kinds of things, but relationship seems to be probably the fast track to our becoming, because we're always in relationship, whether it's relationship with ourselves.
Right.
You know, I have so much that I need to integrate within myself, as we all do. And then there's my relationship with the larger world, my relationship with my community, and of course, romantic relationships. And so just rubbing up against, you know, the give and the take, and the needing to understand a view that's different from my own, and open my heart to that diversity is part of what makes us grow.
And don't you think that really the key is that relationship with yourself, and then being able to open up to someone else?
Always. And myself, for me, also means with the divine, you know, with
absolutely.
my relationship with Source.
Right, exactly. Amen. Amen. And how about you, Gary?
Well, you know, I took a little different path.
And I must say before, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but you have been on my show previously.
Yes.
And so this time you have a partner
that
you're sharing this with, and so I applaud you for that.
Thank you. Yes. You know, it's funny. I've always known she was out there. I've been doing this Safe to Love Again thing for the last 3 or 4 years with my workshops and all, but I always knew she was out there. And you have to just believe that when you are putting out to the universe, you want to show up as love and to help love show up. You know, that someone out there is there. A lot of our clients don't believe it's possible.
Oh, wow.
They're always saying there are no men out there.
Oh,
there are no women out
wow.
there. And this is proof positive that they do,
Yeah.
you know, and so for me,
that's kind of sad, actually, to have that what do I want to say? Well, to me, it's just sad to not have the openness to know that there's somebody out there that could be your soulmate or your partner. I mean, every day I think about it.
Yes.
Just it's not time yet.
Yeah, the soul always knows. The soul always knows.
Yeah.
And when we've done our work, and I think sometimes we expect the moment we do our work, it's going to show up. Yeah. And I think there can be a little bit of, not a long delay, but there seems to be a little bit of delay. Just the universe letting things percolate and really marinate, so that when your soulmate shows up, it's like a well-cooked stew in which everything is really well put together. Instead of that soup, you just threw it together and it's like, it's okay. So I think it's all in the wisdom of the universe, that there's a little bit of letting it all sit in when we do our change work.
I like that, wisdom of the universe.
Yes.
Because I'm still learning patience.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's a hard one sometimes, you know, but I do know that wisdom of the universe and listening to it.
Yes. I don't recommend asking the universe to teach you patience.
You don't?
No, it's one of those things that seems to be one of those big lessons in life.
We have to do it ourselves,
Yes.
within ourselves.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, I've learned so much patience, and even growing up, my father used to shake his finger at me and say, "You're so impatient."
Yes.
No, I'm not. I'm patient now.
Yes.
Anyway, so, you know, because you too work with lots of clients that are in partnership or out of partnership or whatever, you know, tell us what the key is to good communication. I know that this is a huge question and it's a huge answer, but, you know, if you can give us, because we don't have 10 hours, you know, or whatever to talk about it, but, you know, communication is the key to every relationship. It isn't just romantic relationship. But tell us, you know, from your perspective for an intimate relationship, what you know, and maybe some keys to assisting.
I'd say leaning in and really, really wanting to know what the other is experiencing. A lot of times people are so busy thinking about their perspective and what they're going to say in response to what the other person's saying. And the key is to get out of your own way and to be open and receptive and truly wanting to know your your beloved's experience.
So does that mean, like initially when you're getting to know someone, that you ask them, how are they feeling? I'm doing this also
Well,
as a learning tool.
Right, yeah. I might not directly say, how are you feeling, but
Because that might be intimidating.
it
or,
might
you
be.
know.
It might be too much, yeah. So I would say, let's say a gentleman communicates to you, well, I don't meet too many women because I work so hard. Let's say that's the statement. So possibly you would just mirror that a little bit and say, yeah, so you work really hard, huh? And open it up so he could then say more. And he'd say, yeah, you know, it gets old. I'm tired of working so hard. I wish I could have a romantic relationship. And you say, yeah, I hear that. You know, you're frustrated by that. And the more that you are, you know, really listening to his experience and letting him know you're listening, the more he'll open up to you.
And that's an art in itself, is listening.
Yes.
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 It is. And so, you know, what do you think about that?
Well, the thing about listening that's really interesting is that we're always listening to something. And what it really comes down to is the choice between listening to our own inner thoughts and a lot of times our own inner dramas. Or being able to get beyond listening to all that inner drama that's going on. Oh my God, you know, did they really say that? Oh, are they like my father? Are they like my ex? Oh my God, it seemed like this. And you know, we get into these scripts that have been running since childhood or some our last relationship. And to catch ourselves when we are getting sucked into our own inner drama, and still instead of really being able to listen to the other side. So stepping in to that other person's map is a matter, it's kind of a two-step thing. It's stepping off your own map, stepping out of your own story, stepping out of your own scripts and your drama, and being able to just open up a space so you can truly listen to the details and listen to the sort of request underneath the words, like, you know, do I value you? Are you going to value me? Are you going to be there for me? Do you really see me? Do you value me? And when we have that sort of thing, then communication flows a lot better.
What do you mean? I'm asking these questions for the benefit of the viewers as well. What do you mean by map?
Okay. Oh, well, the map is like all the little details that you learn about another person. Sometimes people have very, very little. They have little maps. Like I know one person that was a client that really didn't even know the name of the family cat. They were very professional. They had a lot of responsibilities, and they just didn't leave enough room to really know. They didn't know their children's names, things like that. Not the children's names, but the children's friends' names is what I meant to say.
Okay.
Just didn't know a lot of details about anything. It's important to really begin to notice a lot of the details, because the more detail we know about the other person, the more they feel securely loved.
Yes.
And that's really important.
Or if they feel heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, feeling heard, acknowledged is a big piece of respect. You know,
Yes.
I mean, I had a conversation just recently on how important it is to feel respected,
That's right.
especially a man. I mean, we all want to be respected. It isn't just a gender thing.
Yes. I think, you know, we're in a culture, maybe it's Western culture, maybe it's just human beings with our egos, that tends to compete. It's like, I want to get my point across. I want to win the argument. I want to get to the cheese before the other mouse gets there. And relationship takes kind of the opposite of that.
Yes,
It's not that
absolutely.
you still matter. Your perspectives matter. Your idiosyncrasies, your passions. You're a whole human being with all of that intact. But you lay that aside enough to allow for the other to be valuable. And it's not a competition, it's a dance.
Yes,
It's a coming
yes.
together.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point. So, you know, one thing that came up today, one topic that came up in one of the conversations I was having with a friend of mine was, how do you keep a healthy attachment versus an unhealthy attachment? in an intimate relationship.
Okay, can you say a little more about the kind of attachment you're speaking of?
Well, it's probably emotional attachment. You know, how do you
Right.
keep a healthy emotional attachment?
Right. So we want to be in a secure relationship where we know that our partner is there for us and that we can count on our partner and feel that we're both in it fully, and we know that we're loved and we know we love our partner. So that's healthy. Unhealthy is when one partner becomes really anxious, and the moment you leave the house to go to the grocery
Right.
store, says, "Oh, are you coming back?"
Well, yeah, exactly. And one expanding that conversation is being codependent.
Yes.
How do you know that you have a healthy codependence, if there is such a thing as healthy codependent?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't even call it codependent. I would call it a cooperative efforts, or a team, or a union. And because codependent to me brings up, all kinds of, more.
Well, my understanding is from a female, or from my perspective, I know gender here, but it's like if I start doing something for somebody and I start feeling resentment about
Right.
doing it, that to me is unhealthy,
Right.
Codependent. It's, where I got to pull back, and then it's a reminder that I have to take care of myself
Yes.
first.
Yes.
So I guess that's what I was also talking about.
Right. So how do you negotiate those things in relationships so that you don't feel that resentment?
Right.
And you're still taking care of yourself.
Actually, yeah, absolutely. How do you do that? By saying, I love you, but I don't feel comfortable doing this. I'm not taking, and it takes time and effort to communicate in a loving way, saying,
Yes.
I have to take care of myself right now.
I think that's the key. Exactly. Just clear communication.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know,
Amen. Just clear communication.
Clear communication, saying, right now I can't do that, honey, because I need to do this, and I'll see if I can get to that later, or can you hire somebody to do that task for
Right.
you, or something.
Yeah, or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
for sure.
But in a loving way.
Yeah. So,
Well, when you talk about codependence, one of the things that when you're working with people who are classically codependent, basically what they're saying is my I gets embedded in the other. So they lose their
right.
sense of individuality.
Okay.
When you're working with them, there's an arc of transformation. First, they're codependent, and then there's always a little phase where they're counter-dependent. While they're building up that sense of an I that's distinct and doesn't have to go the way of the other. Eventually, for a couple, there has to be an interdependence. And within every we, there are two I's, but there's a difference between single identity, two I's, and a we in which you have two I's that are leaning against each other, but can also, like the rest of the W, be leaning against. So there's an ebb and a flow,
Right.
but both of them are able to get their needs met in a secure relationship. One of the things we know about the securely attached versus avoidant or anxious is that they give no BS, they take none. They are masters of being able to meet the other's needs and getting their needs met. And they expect their needs to get met. They expect to meet the others. So if someone is codependent, it's all right to be their counter-dependent, but for a relationship to work, there has to be a we, and we need an interdependence.
yes,
There's a ebb and a flow between that.
right. And that's healthy.
Yes,
And then when there's the ebb, you still know that there's that connection.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Because then you can do it securely and feeling comfortable.
And
Is
Yes.
right now, Kahlil Gibran's famous statement about be two trees growing together but not in each other's shadow comes to mind.
Yeah.
In each other's shadow would probably be the codependent,
right.
whereas growing together strong and in unity is the interdependent.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. That's
Yes,
great. Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, somebody had asked me that, and I said, I'm going to talk about that on the show tonight. So
Yes.
that gave the answer. So how do you keep your romance going in a healthy way? I think this is a big issue with couples, you know, especially when they've been together for 20, 30, 40 years. You know, it takes work. It takes concentration. I don't like to call it work because that sounds like it's drudgery.
I'll think of, you know, right now.
Shouldn't be work.
Yeah.
What?
Shouldn't be work.
I know. I know. You know, I'm thinking right now of something that Gary and I started this year. I saw something on Facebook about someone writing down what they were grateful for every day and putting it in a jar and collecting all these moments of gratitude to take out of the jar later and enjoy again. And I suggested to Gary, wouldn't it be fun if we got a jar full of joy and happiness in our love relationship? What it is, one little snippet each day of something we really appreciated about each other or about the relationship as a whole. And he said he was happy to do that.
Nice.
And so I created a jar, put photographs of us pasted onto it and little sparkles and various things to make it a sacred jar. And we have been writing our snippets of joy in our relationship. And the reason I think this is so important is because it draws our attention to the positive. It's so easy to get wrapped up in, you know, well, you didn't take out the garbage, you know, or whatever.
The mundane stuff.
Yes, right. You know, and yet we're looking each day for, oh, wow, there's a snippet I could write about today and drop in the jar. There's another one. And, you know, wow, this is fun. And it also builds up our bank so that if we have a lousy day sometime, we've had so many wonderful things that it definitely counterbalances that.
Yeah, and it goes away in a short span.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, that's romantic because we are engaged in loving each other, you know, and finding out what's beautiful about each other.
Do you think that, I mean, I know that you haven't been together for years and years, but you really are in the vital stages of, you know, the steps to total commitment. Would you say that you put the very most important thing that you do daily is each other?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On top of work, I mean,
Yes.
ahead of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Because you both, it nurtures one another and it gives you more empowerment to do what you're doing. And especially since you're doing it together.
Yes.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're the first ones we talk to every morning and at night, you know. I can count maybe 1 or 2 days when maybe one of us have gotten sick. I mean, in romance, you know, she invites me to be romantic. Just by
How does she do that?
well,
I mean, this is, you know.
she does it when she's just being playful, or when she's very good at appreciating. So that invites me to appreciate her back. And really, if for a lot of men out there, they don't get that, you know, that what a woman really needs to know and to feel really secure is that, you know, she wants to know that she is valued more than anything in your life. And so when she said, would you do this little thing with me? You know, will we write that? I realized what she was saying is, I want to know that this relationship is the most important thing between us. And so, of course I was going to say yes, because it wasn't just about the little pieces of paper we're writing. It's about truly saying, this is what allows her heart to feel appreciated, then I will do that. I want her to know she's the most important person, experience, thing in my life. You know, thing is a little weird, but I mean, but of all the stuff that's in our life, because men can get distracted.
Human, the most important human in your life.
And the research shows that, you know, what really keeps a we together and couples together is keeping a positive perspective and that appreciation. Because when couples start leading down that other path, that appreciation is one of the first things to go. And so anything that nurtures that is really not only nurturing the soul of the person you love, but the soul of...
It's nurturing you,
That's
too.
right. Yes, it does.
Whenever you give, you're giving to yourself.
That's true.
So it should be easy. But then that self-love also comes into play.
Yes.
How much do you love yourself? How much do you nurture yourself in order to be able to share that with somebody else?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
And I feel fortunate, you know, conversations I've had with women, it seems like some men are just really good at being romantic, and we've also experienced ones who don't have much of a clue about it. And I feel fortunate that Gary seems to be really good at being romantic. You know, I don't know for sure.
well, I'm sure you've brought it out in him too.
That's what he tells me. He says I bring it out. You know, I asked him, because I knew we were coming to this conversation, I said, so how does that come out in you? You know, what brings it out? And he said, well, you know, it's the little things you do. It's the way...
Appreciation.
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
how
yeah.
she shows you how she appreciates you.
Exactly. The way I appreciate him. And I guess that's a multitude of little small things. And that makes him want to be romantic, want to make those gestures.
It nurtures it.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have to just, you know, it's okay to find out what really will like.
Thank you. Well, our time is up already, unless there's anything that is redeeming that you want to share.
Well, I just want to thank you for having us on the show.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure. It really has. And I think we have a wealth of information about relationships on this show. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes, appreciate all the enlightenment you bring to the world.
Oh, gosh. Oh, thank you. I'll leave you with this. Self-discipline is a form of freedom. Freedom from laziness and lethargy. Freedom from the expectations and demands of others. Freedom from weakness and fear and doubt, by H.A. Dorfman, American Mental Skills Coach. Never give up. First be aware of and conscious of your thoughts, and catch yourself before they come out of your mouth, especially the negative thoughts into words. It takes being sedulous, persevering, and disciplined. Be grateful for whose you are and where you've come from and what you have, and be grateful for your freedom and eat healthy. Good nutrition feeds the mind and your body temple. And don't forget to exercise. Feed your spirituality with meditation and prayer. Thank God, Spirit, and the universe. Love yourself unconditionally. Stop criticizing, stop judging, and allowing others to dominate the way you feel and think about yourself. Be compassionate and share your abundance and wealth with others. When fear knocks, let faith answer the door. And don't forget to exercise. Feed your spirituality with meditation and prayer. Thank God, Spirit, and the universe. Love yourself unconditionally. Stop criticizing, stop judging, and allowing others to dominate the way you feel and think about yourself. Be compassionate and share your abundance and wealth with others. When fear knocks, let faith answer the door. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life, by Henry David Thoreau. Thank you, Marin TV, for facilitating our show, and especially to our crew, Eric, Brad, and Cynthia. Thank you. Please support and become a member of Marin TV. Bye for now. Until next time.